I'm a man who's used to silence. In my world, silence is power. Silence means deals are being made behind closed doors, that markets are moving in my favor, that the world is bending just slightly to the weight of my influence. I'm the CEO of a multinational tech conglomerate, the kind of company whose logo you can spot in 3 different countries on a single layover. People don't usually tell me to shut up. In fact, most people don't even speak unless I give them permission. That morning was no different, or at least it wasn't supposed to be. My chauffeur had pulled the sleek black Mercedes S-Class around to the curb in front of the hotel. I had just walked out of a breakfast meeting with 2 board members, my mind juggling numbers in the millions, my phone buzzing with a dozen urgent emails. My schedule was back to back, just how I liked it. As the rear door opened, I slid inside, already halfway through composing a voice note to my assistant about rescheduling a call with our investors in Singapore. That's when I heard it. Small, high-pitched, and sharp enough to cut through my thoughts. "Shut up!" At first, I thought it was aimed at someone else. Maybe the driver was on his headset. But then I saw her. Sitting across from me, in the back seat, her legs swinging above the floor mats, was a little girl. 8, maybe 9 years old. Skin the color of warm mahogany, eyes so big they seemed to take in the whole world. She was wearing a faded yellow hoodie 2 sizes too big, the sleeves covering her hands. Her hair was in small, neat braids, though a few had come loose. She wasn't smiling. In fact, she was staring right at me, her eyebrows drawn tight like I'd just personally offended her. "Excuse me?" I said, lowering my phone. "I said shut up." She repeated, her voice calm but firm, like she'd been waiting her whole life to say it. My driver, Martin, glanced at me nervously in the rearview mirror. "Sir, she—" I interrupted, holding up my hand. "It's fine." I was intrigued. I don't get told to shut up. Not by board members, not by rivals, and certainly not by children. "And why?" I asked slowly. "Why should I shut up?" She looked me dead in the eye. "Because you talk too much and you don't listen." I laughed. I couldn't help it. The audacity was refreshing in a way. But the seriousness in her eyes didn't waver. "Do you know who I am?" I asked, more curious than offended. "Yeah," she said simply. "You're the man who owns all those buildings downtown. My mom says you make more money in a day than she does in a year." That threw me. "And how do you know your mom's salary?" "Because she works for you," she replied without hesitation. That shut me up. I leaned back in my seat, studying her. There was no fear in her eyes, no hesitation. She was here with a purpose, though I couldn't begin to guess what it was. "All right," I said finally. "I'm listening." She nodded once, as if satisfied she'd achieved step 1 of her mission. Then she turned her gaze to the window, watching the city blur past. For a while, she said nothing, and I found myself waiting. Me, waiting for a child to speak. The silence stretched long enough that I almost broke it, but then she said, without turning, "Do you know what it's like to have a mom who works 3 jobs and still can't buy you new shoes?" I blinked. "I can't say I do." She turned back to me, her eyes burning. "Do you know what it's like to fall asleep in the back of a diner booth because your mom's shift ran late and the manager don't want you there, but you have nowhere else to go?" I shook my head slowly. "That's my life," she said simply. "And my mom works for you. She cleans one of your big shiny offices. She leaves at 4 in the morning and comes back when it's dark. And you don't even know her name." I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. She was right. I didn't know her name. Martin cleared his throat from the front seat. "Sir, we're—" I kept driving. The girl's lips twitched, almost a smile, but not quite. "You don't listen," she repeated. You talk about deals and meetings and all your important stuff, but you don't hear people like my mom. Something about the way she said people like my mom hit me hard. I should have brushed it off. I should have smiled, maybe offered her a gift card and gone on with my day. But I didn't, because for the first time in years, someone had cut straight through the noise in my head. I leaned forward. Then tell me, what do I need to hear? She sat up straighter as if she'd been waiting for that question. And that was the moment I knew my day, hell, maybe my life was about to change. She didn't answer right away. She just looked at me, almost like she was sizing me up, figuring out if I was worth the effort. Then she asked, "Do you remember what you wanted to be when you were little?" The question caught me off guard. "I don't think I do," I admitted. "That's because you stopped listening to yourself a long time ago," she said matter-of-factly. "You probably wanted to be something different, but now you just want to be rich." I chuckled, but there was no humor in it. "Being rich isn't bad." She shrugged. "Depends if it makes you forget people." I studied her more closely. This wasn't the usual child sass. There was something old in her eyes, something that came from having to grow up too fast. "What's your name?" I asked softly. "Amara," she said. "Well, Amara, why are you here? Why are you in my car?" "Because my mom won't tell you, and you won't ask, but I will." She took a deep breath. "She's sick, real sick, and she still goes to work because she's scared you'll replace her if she misses too many days. She cleans floors when she should be in a hospital bed. She coughs all night, and we can't afford the medicine she needs." I felt a knot tighten in my chest. Why hasn't she asked for help? "Because people like us don't ask people like you for help," Amara said simply. "You don't hear us. You don't see us. We're just part of the background." Her words hit me harder than any business rival's insult ever had. I turned toward the front. "Martin, where is her mother right now?" "Sir, she's on the cleaning crew at Tower 1. I looked back at Amara. "Would you like to go see her?" Amara's eyes lit up, not with joy, but with determination. "Yes. But you can't just talk, you have to listen." The car veered through downtown, the city's glass towers reflecting the pale morning sun. When we pulled up in front of Tower 1, my building, it looked different to me. I passed it 1,000 times, but that day, it felt colder. Inside, the marble lobby gleamed, the air perfumed with expensive diffusers, the kind of place where no one ever thinks about the people who make it shine. We took the service elevator up. The hum of vacuum cleaners and the faint smell of disinfectant filled the hallway. That's when I saw her, Amara's mother, kneeling on the floor scrubbing a stubborn stain from the carpet. She was thin, her uniform hanging loosely on her frame, and when she coughed, she pressed the rag to her mouth as though trying to hide it. She looked up when she heard us. Her eyes widened. "Mr. Reynolds?" she said, startled. Then her gaze flicked to her daughter. "Amara, what are you doing here?" Amara stepped forward. "Telling you what you want." Her mother's face flushed. "Sweetheart, you can't." "She's sick," Amara said, cutting her off. "And you still come here every day. You need to help her." The woman's hands trembled as she stood. "I'm sorry, sir. She shouldn't have—" "No," I interrupted, my voice firmer than I expected. "She should have." I motioned toward a nearby bench, and the three of us sat down. For the first time in years, I didn't care about the meeting I was missing. I asked her mother, her name was Denise, to tell me everything. At first, she resisted, offering only half answers, but Amara's small hand in hers seemed to give her courage. She told me about the diagnosis, the endless shifts, the bills stacking up, how she'd been afraid to take time off because she couldn't lose her job. I listened, really listened. No phone, no distractions, and for the first time in a long while, I realized how insulated I had become from the people whose labor kept my empire running. When she finished, I said quietly, "You're not coming back to work until you're well. Full pay and I'll cover your medical bills." Her eyes filled with tears. I can't accept that." "You can," I said gently, "because it's the least I can do." Amara looked at me like she was trying to decide if she believed me. Then slowly, she nodded. We left Tower 1 together, the three of us, and as the car pulled away, I realized that my day was no longer mine. It belonged to them.